Hello everyone. So welcome back to English class. And as you must be knowing, we were learning stopping by woods on a snowy evening, and we had stopped at a point in the last class that was we had stopped on, I think, figures of speech. So firstly, let us have a quick overview of what we have already learned. Firstly, we have recited the poem so many times. I have recited the poem so many times. We have had a quick overview on Frost's life, who he was, and what was that particular incident that inspired him. It is believed that inspired him to write the poem. Now, once again, let us understand the rhyme scheme, which is AABA, BBCB, CC, and DDDD. Those who have not understood it, I would repeat once again. Look at the last word of each line. As you can see, no in the first line, though in the second line, and snow in the fourth line. So it is in the same tone, and that is why we can say all these three words are rhyming. मतलब अगर बोला जाए तो वो एक जैसे ही बोले जाते हैं, नो, धो और स्नो। इसीलिए क्योंकि वो एक जैसे बोले जाते हैं, हम उसको ए कहें अगर, तो फिर तीसरी लाइन का लास्ट वर्ड जो है हियर, वो अलग बोला जाता है, इसीलिए हम उसे बी कहते हैं। ठीक है, तो पहले स्टैंजा की राइम स्कीम हुई A. Now look at the second stanza. The last word of the first line is queer, which is pronounced like here, and that is why this is again called B. In the same way, last word of the second line is near. So this is also B. And last word of the fourth line is year. So this is also B. And then last word of the third line is lake. This is different from A and B. So let us call it C. So in the second stanza, the rhyme scheme is B, B, C, B. So in that way, if we read the entire poem, we would come across the rhyme scheme that is AABA, BBCB in first and second stanza. Then in the third stanza, CC, and DD. So, in short question, if you are asked, what is the rhyme scheme of the poem? You should write AABA, BBCB, CC, and DD. This is the rhyme scheme. One more thing. The rhyme scheme has very close connection with the theme of the poem. See, as you know, one of the themes of the poem is the conflicting situations in our life, or sometimes the paradoxical situations in our life. The same conflict can be understood from the rhyme scheme also. As the rider was passing by the woods and was attracted towards the beautiful sight of the woods, he wanted to stop there, and then he is reminded by his horse to leave the place because he has promises to keep. What happens is, in the first three stanzas, he just describes how he was attracted towards the beauty of the woods. In the first three stanzas, he just describes what the beauty was and how he was attracted. And then in the last stanza, he is reminded of the fact that I have promises to keep. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. That means I can't stop here. As if, that conflict, he comes out of that conflict. That doubt or that, kind of attraction that was tempting him. He erases that attraction. As if वो रुक गए थे पहले उसका उन वुड्स के पास, क्योंकि वो बहुत ही he was mesmerized by the beauty of the woods. But then, as if, being reminded of the fact that I can't stop here anymore, he is determined to leave now. So that determination, that decision, and that selection of that choice that I can't stop here anymore, that determination makes it the rhyme flat, and that is why deep, keep, sleep, sleep. So this determination is reflected in this rhyme scheme D D D D. In the first three stanzas, he was confused. In the last stanza, he is clear. He is determined. So we can say that there is a very close connection between the rhyme scheme and the theme of the poem. Anyways, you don't have to write long answers, so I don't think you need to write all these things. This is for our understanding. In short question also, you can say this thing in 2 to 3 lines. You have to write it. So that was the rhyme scheme, and then the theme. We can say that the woods stand for temptations. They stand for death. They stand for the beauty of nature. The poem actually very carefully carries the theme of conflicting situations in life, which are almost paradoxically all the times, often. Then the tone is sad, melancholic, and calm. The mood is tranquil, unfearful, and silent. Atmosphere is beautiful, mysterious, peaceful, and silent. Now we come to the figures of speech. Now, firstly, why is the poetic language different from the language of the prose? Because the poem says less but conveys more. मतलब कविता में कहा कम जाता है, बोला कम जाता है, लेकिन सजेस्ट बहुत कुछ किया जाता है, कन्वे बहुत कुछ किया जाता है. तो उस तरीके से कविता में कम शब्दों में ज़्यादा बात कहनी होती है. तो कम शब्दों में ज़्यादा बात कहने के लिए decorative language is used, and that is why figures of speech are used. So in our poem, there are so many figures of speech that the poet has used, जिसको हम हिंदी या गुजराती में अलंकार कहते हैं. That is used in the poem. So as you have read the poem, you must have come to know that in the last 2 lines of the poem, that is to say in the 4th stanza of the poem, there are last 2 lines which are repeated. So that is called repetition. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. This line is repeated in the last stanza of the poem, which is repetition. Repetition is a figure of speech that is used to emphasize an idea, to stress an idea. So repetition is when words or phrases are repeated in a poem. So in this poem, and miles to go before I sleep, this is repeated. Again, this figure of speech has very close connection with the theme of the poem. Until now, he was confused, there was conflict, there was paradox in the situation in his mind. He was not clear, he was not able to take decision. And then he is determined. In the end of the poem, he is determined and he decides that I can't stand here anymore. So he decides to leave. As he decides to leave, as he is determined, this particular line is repeated so that, his clear mind, his decision is conveyed. So in this way, this particular figure of speech is very important. You can be asked as a question, what is a figure of speech? What is one figure of speech that carries the theme in the poem? How? And you can write this answer, that this is the line that carries the figure of speech. And how? Because this line particularly carries the theme of the decision that he takes. While he was confused between whether he should stop there or should leave, Finally, in the end of the poem, he decides that I can't stop here anymore because I have miles to go before I sleep. So in a way, this line actually carries the important theme of paradox. While there was confusion earlier whether to be tempted by the beauty of the nature or to leave, finally he decides to leave. So in this way, it is an important figure of speech, repetition. The next is personification. Personification. Now, this is a figure of speech that we all know um, this horse is giving the quality of a human being. You know, when a non-human person or thing is given the human quality, that is called personification. मतलब हॉर्स जो है उसको वो व्यक्ति की तरह सोच रहा है, ऐसा यहाँ पे माना गया है. My horse, my little horse must think it queer to ask if there is some mistake. इसीलिए ये पर्सोनिफिकेशन है. आपको शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन में पूछा जा सकता है, एक लाइन यहाँ पे, एक या दोनों लाइन यहाँ पे देके कि माई लिटिल हॉर्स मस्ट थिंक इट क्वियर टू आस्क इफ देयर इज सम मिस्टेक, और पूछा जा सकता है व्हाट इज द फिगर ऑफ स्पीच इन दिस लाइन, एंड यू ऑल्सो हैव टू एक्सप्लेन हाउ. Alliteration. Now, what is alliteration? While, as I told you, the decorative language is used in the poem, which actually also adds to the musicality of the poem. Alliteration means the repetition of the same sound. So you can see that in the first stanza, H sound has been repeated in so many words: whose, his, house, he, here, his. So H sound is repeated. Then W sound is repeated in woods, will, watch, and woods. And S sound is repeated in see, stopping, and snow. In second stanza, M is repeated in my and must. L is repeated in little and lake. H is repeated in horse and farmhouse. And F is repeated in farmhouse and frozen. In third stanza, H is repeated in he, his, harness. S is repeated in ask, some, mistake, sound, and sweep. And D is repeated in dark and deep. I will show you the poem so that you can understand these things. Please read the poem again and kindly observe those sounds that are repeated. And you can do this only if you recite the poem. Please understand this thing that you have to do recitation of the poem, otherwise you will not understand the importance of the sounds and the music that is there in the poem. Also, to understand the rhyme scheme, you need to read the lines. So once again, I am telling you to read the poem. And as you read, in the first stanza, ha, in the second stanza, wa, and in the in the first stanza, ha, wa, and sa are repeated. Sorry for the inconvenience. In the first stanza, wa. Then in second line, ha. Also in third line, her. And in the last line, were, in watch and woods. Okay, in the second stanza, my, more, and must, more. Then her in house and horse in second stanza. Then in the last stanza, E, deep, keep, sleep, sleep. Ka in shake, mistake, and flake. Her in his and harness in third stanza. Ma in some and mistake. Sa in sound and sweep in third stanza. Da in dark and deep in the last stanza. Pa in deep, keep, sleep, and sleep and promises. So this is alliteration. So I hope you can understand that the repetition of the sound actually adds to the musicality of the poem. Okay, so alliteration is an important figure of speech used. So that's what the poem is. I would once again tell you something about the poem while I discuss the question answers. Those who have textbook can keep it with yourself, and those who don't, I'm reading the questions. Describe the climate in the first stanza, that is to say, the atmosphere in the first stanza. And we know the climate is beautiful, it is mysterious, it is calm, it is silent and it is peaceful. The snow is falling and filling the woods. There is frozen lake, and it is the darkest evening of the year. So kind of mysterious kind of climate has been created, which is in the poem. Second question, why is the traveler induced to stop at the woods? The traveler is enchanted, he is mesmerized by the beauty of the woods, and that is why he is induced to stop at the woods. Third, why does the traveler feel it queer to stop at the woods? Actually, it is not the traveler, it is the horse who is finding it queer to stop at the woods. The horse finds it queer to stop at the woods because there is no farmhouse near, and it is the darkest evening of the year, and still his owner, that is the horse rider, has stopped there, and that is why the horse finds it queer, strange. Why has the poet repeated the last lines? I have already told you, it is the repetition, that is the figure of speech used in the last line. And why has he repeated the lines? As if to symbolize the decision, the determination that he has done. So in that way, the last lines carry the theme of the poem. Why does the traveler decide to move on? The traveler decides to move on because he is reminded, in his mind, he is reminded of the fact that he has promises to keep. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. The woods are very beautiful, but he can't stop there anymore because he has promises to keep. What is the message of the poem? Not exactly the message of the poem. See, this is an answer that you can write in your own words. I have already described the poem so many times. I have discussed the theme of the poem again and again. So the message of the poem has to be written by you all on your own. You can also be asked what is the central idea of the poem, which is also the message, and what are the themes of the poem. That is also a question, short question. In that way you can be asked. So the poem talks about the temptation or worldly pleasures or death or beauty of nature, that is symbolized by woods. The another short question that can be asked to you is, what do the woods symbolize in the poem? What do the woods symbolize in the poem? So the woods symbolize temptations, pleasures of the world, beauty of nature, and death. The poem also talks about the conflict and paradox in a person's life. You can also, as theme, you can also write the resolution between an attraction towards the woods and the pull of responsibility outside the woods. Okay, so that is conflict or paradox. So these are the questions. Apart from that, there are short notes, but you don't have to write short notes in the exam because they will be asked from prose. Optional questions. Frost is highly regarded for his A. Realistic depictions of rural life, B. Realistic depictions of city life, C. Realistic dramatic dialogue, and D. Formal speech. So the answer is realistic depictions of rural life. Second, the poem is the option A, dramatic dialogue, B, dramatic narrative, third, dramatic monologue, fourth, dramatic conversation. So the answer is C, dramatic monologue. Why dramatic monologue? Because the speaker is speaking, he is alone. When it is alone, it's a monologue. When there are two persons talking or more than two, it is a dialogue. Third, where has the poet stopped? The options are by a farmer's house, by a farmhouse, between the woods and a frozen lake, and between a frozen lake and the farmhouse. Sorry. It is, the answer is between the woods and a frozen lake. Next, where does the owner of the woods live? A, in a house deep within the woods, in the farmhouse near the lake, in the village, and in the city. So the owner of the woods lives in the village. Next, what does the horse do to ask if there has been a mistake? He neighs, he shakes the harness bell, he starts jumping, he refuses to walk further. So he shakes the harness bell. Okay, so that is the, then you can, you can also be asked questions like, the poet of the poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening is A. Robert Frost, B. A.K. Ramanujan, C. Sudha Menon, D. Virginia Woolf. So you have to write Robert Frost. You can also be asked short questions like, Robert Frost was blank, an American poet, an English poet, an Indian poet, an Australian poet. So the answer is He is an American poet. Yeah. Now, there are certain statements given and you have to say whether they are true or false. First, the speaker does not know who the woods belong to. Okay. So for today's homework, I would speak these sentences. You have to say whether they are true or false. So that is today's homework. First, the speaker does not know who the woods belong to. True or false? I repeat them. The speaker does not know who the woods belong to. The speaker does not know who the woods belong to. Second, the woods are lovely, bright and deep. The woods are lovely, bright and deep. Third, the speaker's horse gives the harness bells a shake to ask if there has been a mistake. I repeat, the speaker's horse gives the harness bells a shake to ask if there has been a mistake. To ask if there has been a mistake. Fourth, the speaker does not have to keep any promises. Fourth, the speaker does not have to keep any promises. Fifth, the only sound that the speaker can hear, the only sound that the speaker can hear is of the wind blowing and the snow falling. The only sound that the speaker can hear is of the wind blowing and the snow falling. So you have to write whether it is true or false. And last, there is a frozen lake. There is a frozen lake. So, now in this connection, I hope now that you can understand why in pre-reading activity, I had told you to describe a moment in your life when you have had to take a difficult choice. So you had to describe a moment in your life when you have had to take a difficult choice, because this poem is about one such moment when the poet had to take a difficult, select a difficult kind of choice. He had to select from the options which were very confusing. Okay. And the second question that I discussed was, think about a promise that you need to make to yourself and write briefly about how you propose to keep it through your life. Think about a promise that you need to make to yourself and write briefly about how you propose to keep it through your life. Again, this promise here stands for the obligations and duties in our life. Sometimes such obligations, actually stop us from doing what we like to do. That is what the theme of the poem is. Okay. So that is the poem. And having completed the first poem, now I wish to discuss about, it was not the first poem, it was the second poem. The first poem is Song, Go and Catch a Falling Star. But Instead of doing that, I think we should now start a prose. I have three visions for India. I have three visions for India. This prose piece has been written by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. But before we start this, by the way, this prose will be, I will be reading this prose and I will not be able to show it to you unless I find a PDF file. But the better would be that you yourself find a PDF file and you keep it, you read it out so that we can just discuss the lesson. Before I start reading this, in the pre-reading activity, there are 2 points that are to be discussed. The first is think about the idea of individual change as opposed to the societal change and write down your thoughts on the subject. Think about the idea of individual change as opposed to societal change and write down your ideas on the subject. So what does this question mean? First of all, I would request you all to write this because you have to express your ideas on this. I repeat the question. Think about the idea of individual change. Think about the idea of individual change as opposed to societal change, as opposed to societal change, and write down your thoughts on the subject. That means what happens when an individual decides to do something different from the society. See, as individuals, we all are living in a society. हम सब इंडिविजुअल हैं और हम सब की एक इंडिविजुअल पर्सनैलिटी है और हम सोसाइटी में रहते हैं, हम सब सोसाइटी के एक भाग हैं, ठीक है. Now there are moments in our life when as individual we decide to do something which is different one, which is different from others in society. Now, how do you think about it? What do you think about it? Do you feel that you yourself as an individual can change the society if you yourself do the things differently? Is it possible for you to change society? Is it possible that you can, by your own self, by your own efforts, you can change society? मतलब हम एक इंडिविजुअल के तरीके से क्या हमारे अकेले करने से क्या सोसाइटी में चेंज आ सकता है? क्या हम समाज को बदल सकते हैं? ये बहुत ही सेंसिटिव सी बात है, specifically in today's time while the entire world is passing from such a confusing, stressful and difficult time. Do you feel that you yourself as an individual, आप अकेले as an individual कुछ करो जिससे धीरे धीरे से बदलाव आएगा? Do you feel this? What do you feel about it? Write down your thoughts on the subject. I request you all to write your thoughts on this subject. आप सबको इस विषय में अपने विचार जो है रखने हैं. You have to write it down. You have to take its picture. Firstly, you have to think. The most important quality of the human beings is that they can think. So firstly, you have to think. After thinking, you have to write on it. And whatever you write, please take a picture and share it with me on Google Classroom. I wish to know what your thoughts are. See, though I have not read your answers yet, I will find 2 kinds of answer. Firstly, there will be people who will be saying that the positive change can be brought in society. मतलब अगर हम अकेले ही प्रयत्न करें तो भी बदलाव आ सकता है और आया है। बहुत सारे एग्जाम्पल्स दिए जाएंगे कि भाई ये एक महान विचारक था जिसने अपने विचार रखे और उसके जीवन से बहुत कुछ बदला गया। by his own life and by his own doings he tried and he did change the society। और फिर कुछ ऐसे होंगे जो बहुत ही नेगेटिव बात करेंगे और कहेंगे कि हम चाहे कितनी भी कोशिशें क्यों ना कर ले, however hard we might try, it is very difficult to change the society। Both the options are correct। In fact, this particular point can be taken as a debate in the debate competition। And see, this is where we the students of literature come into the picture। what we have to do is to think about both the aspects। मतलब हम लोगों को दोनों तरीके से सोचना है। हम लोगों को ये भी समझना है कि क्या एक इंडिविजुअल चेंज ला सकता है, और ला सकता है तो कैसे ला सकता है। और हमें ये भी समझना है कि हाउ डिफिकल्ट इट इज, कितना मुश्किल है for an individual to change the society, right? So on that, I think we should end for today। as you know, we have completed one poem, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, and in the next class we will be discussing about our first lesson, I Have Three Visions for India by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam। Thank you for today and see you in the next class। Thank you।